Hello and welcome to new script of Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies, Conspiracy Theories and Myths. Okay, so I'm going to use a few conspiracy theories instead of all of them, as some of them only Call of Duty players would understand, but as if you're not a Call of Duty player, then you'll understand these as well, because I've related them to real-time events instead of ones that people won't understand. Okay, alright, so we're going to start with this one. Number 1. Okay, so in the map Origins, you have these things called Templar zombies, and the Templar is obviously related to the Illuminati and Satan. And okay, so back in France, during the war times and things like that, Templars, actually these are real people, would go down into catacombs and trents and just things underground tunnels, and they would hide there. So back in that time, people would go along and you'd try and find them, and then they would kill them, obviously. And then back, obviously, in them times, when you killed them down there, they buried them down there as well. And that's why in the map Origins, the Templar zombies, they only come from inside the catacombs. So like here is shown, when you go inside of the catacomb, when you go to open up the portal to get into the main part so you can open up your staff, the Templar zombies only come from there, and they won't come from anywhere else. Also, when you do the engines that you have to power so you can get a Pack-a-Punch, the Templar zombies come from there as well, from a portal underneath from the ground, and they come up obviously to try and stop you. So these guys would obviously come down, that's obviously the original idea of it. They were down and below, and they came up, and they would come like, I don't know, how would you... Okay, so those Satanists back in that day, then obviously people were scared of them. Like, in England you had like witches and people would kill them. Back in like France you had people called Templars, and that's where the Templar zombie comes from. And then the symbols on their chest that I will show you right now. This is obviously the sign of Illuminati, and if you type up Templar, it comes up talking about Satan and the goat from like the satanic rituals and things like that, and that is where it comes from. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Number 2. Okay, right, so now this is where it gets interesting. Okay, so in obviously zombies, it's related, Nazi zombies related to Hitler. Okay, so obviously there was a lot of conspiracies revolved around Hitler and other things, but back then, so Hitler tried to make a thing called the Die Glocke. Die Glocke in English means the bell, and the bell was known and used as a time machine back during Nazi Germany. And this was a real-life conspiracy that people believe that Hitler actually went forward in time and he didn't go forward in time, but they believe that he went forward in time. So obviously in the war, they were much more advanced than we were. And apparently, because they believed, there was a thing called the Vril, and that's a hollow earth. So this is a completely different thing. So this is what obviously in the maps, like I'm going to show you now, in the back of Nacht der Untoten, as you can see, when I go up these capsules, there's little aliens inside of the capsules, and they were known as the Vril. And then you have like on the Giant or Der Riese. When you go along, you can see there's the teleporters, the Die Glocke, and it has like the German like symbol around. And also when you type up Die Glocke, that's what comes up. And people actually believe, like as you can see in this picture right now, that Hitler actually met aliens, the Vril race. Okay, so the Vril race came from came from Agartha. And Gartha is a hollow earth. So the people believe that the earth that we're on right now, if you dig further enough, there's another smaller earth inside of the earth, so the earth is hollow. And that's what people believe. And back in the Agartha, they believe there's the Vril, and that's the Vril race. And they're like super beings, and they use Vril energy. And that's why they believed that Hitler used the Vril energy to create more advanced things than we had. And people also believe that he created UFOs, as you can see in the picture here, and that he met the aliens, as you see in the picture here, and that he did loads of other things. There's also the Vril apparently wanted to take over the world as well, so did Hitler, and then they came up to the earth, to the bit where we were on, not Agartha, just the normal earth that we are on right now, and apparently they actually hid themselves as top people. So the SS, they hid themselves as the top ones in SS, and they were known as like the higher people, and apparently they hid in plain sight, and that's why he had so much like crazy things going on, all connected, I guess. And then in Nacht der Untoten, like I said, when you go back to the back, like I showed you earlier, of when you saw that as aliens in the time, well, in the capsules, that's where he put them all. And yeah, so that's pretty crazy to believe. If you believe it, then that's your choice. But next one. number 3. So this was a real life thing. So in the map Transit on Black Ops 2, you'd go around the bus, and then you had the thing called the Avogadro. Okay, so the Avogadro was like a little mini boss in the game, and it was like a ball of energy, electric energy. And this was obviously used because Transit, as we know, is next to the HARP project. And the HARP project was a real life thing that America tried to do. They tried to control the weather by using electromagnetic waves. Obviously, because then if there was a war and America had power like over the weather, they would win, right? So obviously America tried to master this, and then they want to control the weather by doing that. And that's why the Avogadro is in Transit. And Avogadro was his name, as you had the guy called the Avogadro, that called something. No, you had the real life scientist Avogadro, and that was his actual name. And he found out about the constant in chemistry. And this was used to calculate electrolytes in 1 mole. So he used this, and that's obviously where America got their idea of being able to control the electrical like fields to create like snow, blizzards, because if you were having a war, they would win. And in Transit, that's what they did, and they put that in there. So it's really cool to if you understand it. Anyway, let's go to the last one, number 4. Okay, this is the last one. So in the map Mob of the Dead, this map is crazy. It's obviously, if you know the map, it's the complete replica of the known prison Alcatraz, and it's very like Illuminati based, and it's just crazy, like hell and things like that. And it's amazing how a game can be so related to real life and just gets people's mind ticking and things like that. Okay, so anyway, in one of the Easter eggs, you have to go to obtain the golden spork. That's just what the Easter egg is called, getting the golden spork. That's what you do. Like in here, they'll show you where you pick up the golden spork. And then to acquire the golden spork, the steps that you have to do to take them to get the golden spork is, so beginning, you have to go get the Hell's Retriever or the Hell's Redeemer. By doing this, you have to feed 3 dogs, 6 zombies. 3 dogs, 6 zombies. 666. There's a little thing there, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, so once you get the Hell's Redeemer or the Hell's Retriever, you have to go back to the cell, to one of the cells, and then chuck it at the back, and then boom, it'll crack the back of the cell, like you see here now. And as you can see, it's cracked. And this is referenced actually to the real people who tried to escape Alcatraz. And this is what the real people did. So they got the spoons and they dug out the hole, like in the back of back of the cell, to get through with their forks. After that, you had to go along, and then you had to climb to the top. So in one of the next step of the Easter egg, you had to go into the back as a ghost. So basically you can die, or you can let yourself be killed in Mob of the Dead in the map, and you become like a spirit, and you can go to the back and you can zap the wall, and then you get through. And right there, if you can look on the ground, like I'm showing you right now in the picture, there's clothing to represent. That's what they used, obviously, to get up to the top part of the on the pipes, because the plan was to escape through the back, climb through the pipes, get up onto the top of the roof, and then get out. So from there, as you can see, there's obviously a spork, because obviously they dropped their sporks down, they didn't carry them with them because there'll be no need. And also you can see the skull. The skull actually represents one of the other people that died. So there's actually 4 people that tried to escape Alcatraz, but only 3 managed to escape. The 4th one died during trying to escape, which is pretty sad. So the 3 of them, they all got through the back, climbed up to the top of the pipes. From there, obviously they gathered loads of like cloth and things and made their own DIY aeroplane. And then they tried to escape, and that's obviously what they did. And the reason it's called the Golden Spork Easter egg is because the key, like I'm going to show you right now, was golden. And obviously for them, the spork meant freedom, and the key was golden. And also when you go along and you play as Weasel, one of the characters in Mob of the Dead, it's weird because he links to the other characters in another storyline called Nikolai. So Nikolai Belinsky, and he's nothing to do with the storyline, but Weasel mentions his name multiple times. Also when they get onto the aeroplane, it's weird because Nikolai Belinsky was a World War I pilot, and it's just really weird. That's all I really have. Thank you for listening, and hope to see you again.